Hi, everybody. It's Emmy with Astro Metal Craft. I am here with Tanner Motzko, our project manager for the architectural division here at Astro. Welcome, Tanner.
Hi.
This is our first shooting of our kind of day in the life series with Astro employees. Tanner, you're kind of our guinea pig here, so welcome. Welcome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your position here at Astro, kind of your experience and your background, and kind of how you got here?
Yeah, so currently I'm a project manager here at Astro in the architectural division. I've been here about 7 years. I started off out in the shop as a press brake operator and wherever else is needed. I then moved to the production manager, and I was in that position for about 6 years. And then just recently, I made a slight shift to a project manager in the architectural division.
And you liking the shift, or?
Yeah, it's a bit different. A little bit more in the office, working with customers one-on-one. But it's been good so far.
Okay, and you like that customer interaction?
Yeah, it's good to see what their needs are and how Astro can provide for them.
Sure. So as a project manager, who are kind of the people that you're interacting the most with?
I think in the initial phase, the initial steps of the project, there might be a little bit more interaction with the architect, basically understand what their design intent would be. Once we get that clarification on that, we're on the same page, then we kind of work more with the contractor, our GC, on the timeline of a project and when they need the certain product. And then once we get that dialed in, then we start working with our drafting team, make sure we're drafting the right product and parts, and that we can manufacture the product efficiently.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about the team. Tell us a little bit more about the architectural team, who's involved, and kind of what their roles are.
Yeah, so we have Chris Rock, head of sales in our architectural team. So he'll work with the customer. Once he gets the job, we'll do a kickoff meeting with myself and our drafter to make sure we're all on the same page. What the design intent are, what scope, what projects or what items are in our scope, and then I'll take that job from there. I'll get in touch with the customer and tell them our timeline, when we can fit a project in, understand their needs, and then from there I start working with Justin, our drafter, and we'll start working out the details. Once the details are worked out, then we'll start going to procurement. We'll start ordering materials, and then I work with the production manager, understand the needs, where it can fit in the shop. So I'm really working with several different people throughout the company.
So talk a little bit about timelines. You talked about having multiple projects going on at once. Yep. How do you manage timelines between different customers and projects, and making sure that they get their projects on time? Yep. If there's delays, what kind of happens?
I mean, one thing I've been learning is understanding what kind of project it is. Sometimes we'll bring projects in that are all new construction, and understanding, okay, this is in the very early phases. Maybe they haven't even dug ground yet on a project, and we're already working on something that might get installed at the very end of their project. So kind of getting a good understanding of what kind of project it is. We also work in a lot of renovation projects, where we'll be making something that we don't even know the dimensions of it until the project gets to a certain point on a job site. So in that and a job like that, we'll go out and field measure, and then of course they're going to want it right away because everything's there ready, but we have to make it. So there's different jobs that have different needs at different times. So I basically have a whiteboard that I look at all my different jobs every single day, and making sure each one is progressing. Some might be in drafting, some might be in approval phase, some might be in procurement, and just making sure those are progressing each day on every different job.
So I know it varies between projects and customers and things like that, but what is kind of a basic timeline that an architect or a contractor can expect when they reach out with an idea for a project?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a new construction job, sometimes that might take up 4 to 6 weeks just for the submittal phase, when we're getting on the same page of what is needed. And then after that, you might look at another 4 to 8 weeks of, obviously depending on the size of the job, but to get it through approvals and then into our shop and out the other end.
Okay. So to kind of help some of our viewers that might be architects or contractors, what are some common questions that you get that maybe we can address to kind of help smooth the process a little bit?
Can you make this? How soon can you have this out? We get that. I work with a lot of architects and customers on, can we make this? A lot of times we can. It might be just a little slightly different design. Just got done, making a large sliding gate where the architect wanted it to look a certain way, but the way they had initially designed wasn't feasible for manufacturing. So we worked with them back and forth on, hey, we can do this style, we can achieve this look, and then we kind of work together on what they're doing. So that's how we go about it.
Sure. So a little bit of a collaborative design process.
Yep.
Nice. So, we talked about questions that maybe architects or designers might have. Are there any pain points that you experience as you're going through projects that you can talk about?
A couple of things. I'd say one is the design. Sometimes architects are, they want it to be this way, and so we have to, both parties need to understand what is capable, what we're capable of doing. And then also the second thing is timeline. Like I mentioned before, we're not, any one given job isn't the only job throughout the shop. Multiple jobs throughout the shop in any given time that might be needing the same equipment. So schedules and working through with the team, the production manager, the shop, how we can get certain jobs through at a certain given time.
Talk a little bit about our capabilities and like common equipment that we use that as far as like manufacturability for architectural projects.
For a lot of the architectural projects, we use our punch to make perforated panels. Just like you can see behind me is one example. But we make different infill panels. We can make different shapes, different designs. We can make designs with the perf in the panel. So that is a big process we use in architectural. There's a lot of forming. So a lot of times parts will go from the punch to the press brake. And then we also do painting, powder coating, wet paint. We have wet paint in-house. Otherwise, we can outsource powder coating, and hit the 2604, 2605 specs on powder coat. So a lot of different options there.
Okay. On the painting side, is there any noticeable difference between like wet painting and powder coating, and what are kind of the differences?
Powder coating might have a little bit thicker mill thickness on it.
Okay.
But we can still achieve the 2604, 2605 in both wet and powder coat. That provides us more options as far as timelines. If we're stuck with powder coating now, we have less options, vendors to go to. But if we can go wet or powder and still hit that specification, that opens up, and we can usually achieve a faster turnaround on that.
Okay. So you talked about how timelines are sometimes a bit of an issue. What about budgets?
Budgets, yes. Especially when, I've been saying this a few times, but that design intent, that can widely swing budgets. But we like to obviously achieve a efficient result or efficient product out in the shop. So we'll work with myself, the drafter, and think of ways to achieve certain tolerances or bottlenecks, and then kind of value engineer that out.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the big word within the fabricating realm is value engineering. How do we kind of address value engineering and when architects or contractors are experience that and want a project to happen, but we're going into value engineering? How do we address that?
Yeah, so we'll review a model, myself, Justin, our drafter, and Chris Rock, and kind of look at possible issues while it's in the shop. Is there any items that are super tight tolerance, little clearance? How can we design certain aspects of the job to make manufacturing easier, but yet still achieve that design intent, that look? So we'll work on a project for several hours and discussing the options and how we can achieve that product and still be a highly sought after product.
Okay. What about quality? I know that especially within the architectural division, where there's a lot of people seeing the product and it's a very visual product. How do you deal with quality?
A lot of the products in the architectural division, have a certain finish to them. So when we have a product that goes to the shop that we know that's going to get powder coated, we can kind of tell the shop, hey, this is the finish that the powder coater is going to want to achieve that clean look. So we know we can, use a 120 grit DA on those products, and powder coat will cover that up. We know that certain depths of scratches or gouges will be visible through powder coat. So we'll go, we kind of train our shop employees, to be looking for this. A fingernail test or a certain depth of the scratch we got to get out. Otherwise, we can leave it. Other aspect is we do a lot of what we call a brushed number 4 finish, where we take the stainless steel and we put a brush look on it. We have different processes throughout the shop. If it's a handrail or if it's a bar, we have machines that can put that finish on. And then also understanding where that product might be going. Is it, eye level? Is it 3-4 stories high? And understand the full scope of the project will help you determine what the true quality should be.
Okay, so like going off of understanding where the project is going, what happens once the project is done as far as shipping options, installation, and everything like that?
Yeah, so a lot of that is worked out. We try to work that out on the front end. We have projects that we deliver all throughout the country. So some projects, the customer might be taking on that responsibility. Other projects we'll take that on. We have to understand where it's going, how far it's going. If it's going across the country, we got to talk about how it needs to be packaged. Some need to be in an enclosed crate, foam all around it. Some are just going to go on a trailer and they're just going, 20 minutes down the road. Understanding that on the front end and preparing the shipping department to receive that product maybe on a weld and then package that appropriately is a conversation we have right off the bat.
Okay, and we do offer installation as well for some projects.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So what's been some of your favorite projects to work on?
A couple. I guess one of them was we just got done with for the U of M Middlebrook Hall, where we made a sliding gate. That there was a lot of work with the architect on their design intent, and once we got that figured out and we made the gate, got it painted, then we had to install resin panels in the gate, glue those in.
Bit of a tedious process.
A little tedious process and clean it all up, and then being able to go down there after it was installed and see the final product was very cool.
So what's some of your favorite things about your job?
Working with people. Always been something that I enjoyed, especially, we're all trying to achieve, common goal of, being profitable and, helping our customers out. But that takes a team effort. So, and everyone is trying to work on different projects. So understanding what someone else's needs are, what your needs are, and how you can come collaborate together to make products go out the door.
Cool. Well, thanks for chatting with us,
Yeah,
Tanner.
no problem.
If you are an architect or a general contractor, you most likely will be talking to Tanner at some point on your project. So feel free to reach out to Astro, and we look forward to talking with you. Thanks so much.